Let's get one thing very, very clear. And hear me when I say this. Liverpool are the best team in England right now. And probably the best team in Europe. And probably the best team in the world right now. And you cannot argue with me against that. And I'm gonna bring up some points that I seen in this match against Tottenham Hotspur that only backs these comments. They're coming into form at the right time, guys. We are coming into form. This Arne Slot side are starting to click and get better at the right time, exactly when you need to in a season where it's crunch time. You're getting late into cup competitions, FA Cup, EFL Cup, Champions League. They're starting to gel and get better, if that's even possible, get better than they were earlier in the season. It's another masterclass by Slot. Again, he made the adjustments from the first portion of the tie to this tie, and it was much, much better. He took Spurs apart. He took them apart. The second half Slot is a real thing, man, and this is a huge change from the beginning of the year where we were taking a lot of times to break down teams. We were taking a half, right? We would take that first half to be a little bit slower on the ball, hang on to it, and Slot would kind of figure out what the tactics are and then come in the second half, then take it apart. Not today. Today, he came for blood, and I was absolutely loving it. From the jump, we had the foot on the neck of Spurs, and we didn't let them up. I predicted 3-0 before this game starts. We got 4-0. I did predict a Mo Salah goal and a Gravenberch goal, but my parlay didn't hit. It almost did. But this Arne Slot team it's the same as last year, but it feels so different. And they are the real deal. They are the real deal. I think it's time we start giving them some credit and you give Arne Slot some credit as to what he's been able to do with this team, limited resources. But can you really say limited resources when you're pulling Alexis McAllister, Harvey Elliott, and Luis Diaz off the bench? Can you really say that? I don't think you can. And we're going to talk about that in a sec and how a lot of the crap and a lot of the stuff that we're hearing in the media about how we run our club and the transfer windows and things like that, maybe they're seeing something that us fans are being blind to, right? Or refusing to see, because I think we see it, but we don't want to see it, right? So before I jump into that, subscribe to the channel. Make sure when you're down there, tell us where you're watching from. This thing is going all over around the world. Also, join the Discord while you're down there. I'll put a link down to the Discord. We watch matches every single game, and we're having a blast this game, especially watching Liverpool just go absolutely rampant against Tottenham Hotspur, and we took them apart, man. Dismantling, systematically. The big thing that stood out to me was the quality, not just on the pitch, but also on the bench. Say what you will about the transfer windows, but no one is bringing Alexis McAllister, World Cup winner, Luis Diaz, could have been a Copa America winner, Harvey Elliott, one of the brightest talents in England, off the bench. Nobody's doing that. The strength and depth that Liverpool have in all positions is actually really, really impressive. And the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's deemed as a generational talent, can have his backup come off the bench and be one of the men of the match in Conor Bradley and not skip a beat and be maybe more dangerous than the guy that he's replacing in the starting 11. There has to be something said about that in terms of how we've recruited in the past handful of years and how all of these transfers have aged beautifully. I think the biggest takeaway from all of that is obviously the intensity, right? The intensity was on a whole nother level compared to previous seasons, even the last game, like I mentioned before. And I think Slot understood the assignment today. He understood that we needed to be first in everything. First to score a goal, because that was going to set the tone in the rest of the tie. First to the first ball, first to the second ball, first to all the ball recoveries. And today we just outworked Spurs. We just did. It was we put much more effort into the game than Spurs did, where Spurs kind of came in kind of trying to survive from the beginning. And you never want to do that against, especially an Arne Slot Liverpool side. And Cody Gakpo, let's talk about some of these standout players. He's quietly becoming one of the best left wingers in the world right now. I believe he's on 21 goals and assists already this season and could be on for a 30 goal and assist season before it's all over. And who predicted that before we got in here? I don't think anybody also predicted Mo Salah going for 44 goals and assists, and it's February, which is absolutely insane. And I'll talk about some of those crazy ass goals that he set up, and then the penalty that he scored, which is probably the best penalty that I've ever seen in my life. And Gravenberch was honestly super unlucky to not get 2 goals today. Was outstanding. You can see how he's just continuing to improve, and somehow he continues to improve and has become the best DM in Europe. Let's just be honest about it. Ryan Gravenberch is the best DM in Europe. And that's another prediction that I predicted in the beginning of the year, that I knew that if Rodri could not stay healthy, it was going to be Ryan. Ryan was going to be the best. And he continues to show levels as we continue to go on in this season. I'm very, very happy with Ryan Gravenberch. And don't forget, he's 22 years old, y'all. We got a long time coming with how good Ryan Gravenberch just dances through the midfield like Ronaldinho sometimes, man. Which makes me think, like, does he have a future in attack? I don't know. Maybe he does. But Sabo finally coming good with the goals and the assists and everything that he does off the ball, the great work that he does off the ball. It's finally being spotlighted now that he's doing what he needs to do as a 10, right? And I can't just imagine very many other 10s in the world right now that can do what Szoboszlai does at his size, at his speed, at his relentlessness. And then now he's tying in the goals and the assist. It's going to be tough for Elliott to get absurd him out of this starting 11, because Harvey just isn't physically as gifted as he is. Obviously, technically is gifted, but I think that's what gives Sabo the edge over other 10s is his physicality, is the way that he's naturally built. And it's all coming together for him. The midfield of him, McAllister, and Gravenberch is going to be really, really hard to stop for years and years to come. And then back to Salah. 44 goal contributions, 10 more than anybody else in Europe right now. Let's not talk about how nasty that damn penalty was, bro. That was outrageous, is what he's doing. And he's putting together a Ballon d'Or season. If he doesn't get it, it's an outrage. Liverpool are marching on towards multiple titles this year. And I think it's safe to say, I'm confident to say, that we should be going home with multiple titles, not just lucky to have one. And I think it's okay now as Liverpool fans for us to say that. But let's talk about Conor Bradley. He needs a huge shout. For me, my man of the match, let me know who your guys' man of the match is down below. But Conor Bradley was my man of the match. An actual right back at Liverpool FC. The underlaps, the overlaps. It makes the entire team much more dangerous. It creates more space for our midfielders to take shots. This is the most shots I've seen Ryan take all year. And then the setup between him and Szoboszlai for that goal was a thing of beauty. And Mo looked more dangerous than I've ever seen, because now Mo has that support, underlapping and overlapping, and it's giving Spurs defense much more to talk about and much more to think about when they are defending, versus Mo just trying to go it alone with Trent playing in that inverted position. I'd much rather have my right back actually being a right back than being a deep lying midfielder. It makes the play a lot more unpredictable. And don't get me wrong, Conor can also play as an inverted midfielder as well. The versatility is there. He's a special player. I've been saying this since last year. I think we have another generational right back on our books in Conor Bradley. So if something does happen to Trent, I don't think we worry about that at all. The creativity comes in a different way with Conor. And I'm very, very happy for him. And that's what I've been talking about in the last handful of videos, is that when you're a young guy, you come in and you're replacing one of the starters, you need to make it extremely clear that you are the man and that you are ready to take it to the next level. And Conor does that nearly every time he steps onto the pitch. I am very excited about him, and I'm very proud of that kid. My man of the match, Salah was close. He created 3 of the 4 goals, if you really think about it. But Conor was just outstanding today. Locked up Son for the majority of the match. Son had a couple dangerous moments, but I forgot he was on the pitch some of those times and was absolute rampant going forward. So I loved what I saw. Maka, the substitutions from Slot, Maka coming in, actually getting us a goal from a set piece. I think it's like the first one since months ago. And the big standout for me in these goals that we scored is that we haven't really scored these types of goals yet this season, which means for me that this team is now starting to click with each other. And the fact that we've lost 2 games all season, when a team that hasn't even clicked and gelled all the way with the style of play, should be terrifying for the rest of the Premier League. This should be a sign that the rest of the Premier League should be extremely worried about this Arne Slot team. Imagine when he starts actually adding players to this amazing roster. It's going to be doomsday, and I'm trying not to cuss, but it's going to be doomsday for the rest of this league, okay? Systematically broken down. Ange, welcome to the Arne Slot Penitentiary. So what's next? We got Plymouth this weekend, and when I talk about Conor taking a chance, I want some of these young boys that we're going to see this weekend do the exact same thing. I don't want a repeat of the PSV game where a lot of them looked casual. I want intensity. I want crunching tackles like Conor does. I want them to be active and in the game and contribute. You don't got to score a goal, but contribute to the game to where it's visible, right? And take this chance. They need to take their chance. They should be taking Plymouth apart this weekend. Chiesa and Co. have a lot to prove this weekend, which I know Chiesa will probably get the start. So let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to do that. We are almost at 5,000. The big goal is to get to 5,000 this year or this month. Let's see if we can do it. And then while you're down there, tell me who your man of the match is. I love hearing your guys' opinions. You guys have some of the best opinions that I've seen, some of the best stuff that I've seen in the entirety of YouTube, better than some of the content creators, has been said down in those chats. So share your opinion. That's what this whole channel is about, is to share some of these opinions that may not conform to what the general footballing public or the general Liverpool fan public may be thinking, and let's have a chat about it. So I love you guys. I appreciate everyone that's subscribed in the last video that we did. We will see you on the next one. Up the Reds, up the Reds, up the Reds. Vamo, vamo lads. Let's go.